In that hour after dawn, the horizon did not seem far away. The line where the watery sky met the gray sea was not well defined. It was as if the cheerless clouds grew denser out towards that circle until at the final meeting, all the way round, there was not an abrupt transition, but a simple mingling of twin elements. So the area confined under that low sky was not a large one. Beyond the circle, in every direction, the sea extended for 1,000 miles, and beneath it the water was 2 miles deep. Neither figure was easily to be grasped by the imagination, although acceptable as an academic fact. 2 long miles below lay the sea bottom, darker than the center of the longest and darkest tunnel ever built by man, under pressures greater than any ever built up in factory or laboratory, a world unknown and unexplored, to be visited not by men, but perhaps by their dead bodies, encased in and made part of the iron coffins of their crushed-in ships. And the big ships, to insignificant man so huge and so solid, sank to that sea bottom, to the immemorial ooze in the darkness and cold, with no more ado or stir than would be caused comparatively by specks of dust falling on a ballroom floor. On the surface, the limited area enclosed by the near horizon bore many ships. The long gray rollers from the northeast swept in endless succession across the area, each demonstrating its unlimited power. To each one, as it arrived, the ships made obeisance, rolling far over, and then heaving up their bows, mounting towards the sky. Next rolling far over the other way, bows down, sterns up, slithering down the long slope before beginning the next roll and the next pitch, the next rise and the next fall. There were many ships in many lines and many columns, and by looking at the ships, the course and position of each wave could be traced diagonally across line and column, ships here rising on the crest, and there sinking in the trough until the mastheads only were visible. Ships here rolling far to port, and ships there rolling far to starboard, towards each other and away, as long as patience could endure to watch. And the ships were diversified like their motions, big ships and small, Samson posts and cargo booms, freighters and tankers, new ships and old, yet they all seemed to be animated by one will, all heading doggedly to the east, their transient washes all parallel. Furthermore, if they were watched for any length of time, it would be seen that at long, irregular intervals they changed their direction a few degrees to port or a few degrees to starboard, rear ships following their leaders. But despite these variations of course, it would soon be apparent to the observer that the resultant general direction of travel of this mass of ships was eastward, doggedly and steadily, so that with every hour that passed they had covered a few of the 1,000 miles that lay between them and their easterly goal, whatever it might be. The same spirit animated each ship. Nevertheless, continuous observation would also reveal that the animating spirit was not infallible, that these ships were not faultless machines. Hardly one of those alterations of course failed to produce a crisis somewhere among those 37 ships. That might have been expected by the experienced observer, even if each ship had been a mere machine not subject to human direction, because every ship was different from her neighbors. Each reacted slightly differently at the application of the rudder. Each was influenced in a different way by the waves which met her from dead ahead, or on the bow, or on the beam, and each was variously influenced by the wind. With ships hardly half a mile apart in one direction, and hardly a quarter of a mile apart in the other, these small differences of behavior grew into matters of intense importance. This would have been true even if each ship had been perfect in herself, and that was far from the case. The laboring engines grinding away in each of them were not capable of quite consistent performance. Nor was the fuel absolutely uniform, and as time went on, tubes might clog and valves might stick, so that the propellers that the engines drove would not continue to turn at a uniform rate. And compasses might not be absolutely true, and with the consumption of fuel and stores and with the consequent change of displacement, the thrust of the propellers would bring about a different result, even if miraculously they were kept turning at uniform speed. All these variables might bring about a relative change of position of only a few feet in a minute, but in those close-packed columns of ships a few feet's difference in 1 minute could bring disaster in 20.